Welcome to the 2020 inaugural ceremony for the City of Lawrence and those recently elected on November 5th to the positions of City Council, Lawrence School Committee, and the Lawrence members of the Greater Lawrence Technical High School. To begin matters, if you would please rise for a rendition of our national anthem by Cadet JROTC Cadet Captain Emily Santos.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Captain Santos. Thank you very much. Please be seated. To begin the session this evening, I want to welcome all of you, and all of you helped put this together. Thank you very much. And want to introduce some of our guests. If the honor guard could make its way so the honor guests could be recognized. Thank you. I want to give a special thanks certainly to Representative Marcos Devers, former City Council member, who's joined us this evening. Representative Frank Moran, former Council President, who has joined us this evening. Senator Feingold, Barry Feingold, again, joined us this evening. Our keynote speaker, Mayor Dan Rivera. Thank you. Also, I want to thank Francisco Urena, from Secretary of Veterans Affairs. I always think of you as Veterans Affairs in City Hall because you were right downstairs and run right to your office. But now you're in much better hands in guiding the state. Thank you very much. Representative Metacucci from North Andover. Your elected officials, Councilor David Abdu, Councilor Maria de la Cruz, Councilor Mark LaPlante, Councilor Anna Levy, Councilor Pavel Payano, Councilor Selena Reyes, Councilor Stella Reyes, Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez, Councilor Kendras Vasquez, your elected Lawrence School Committee, Joshua Alba, Lawrence School Committee member, Jonathan Guzman, Lawrence School Committee member, Cassandra Infante, Lawrence School Committee member Enrique Matos. Lawrence School Committee member Rafaela Pachado. Greater Lawrence members, City of Lawrence elected officials, and Representative Stephanie Infante. And Greater Lawrence Technical High School Committee member Leo Lamontagne. Zoila Diaz, also among our elected members, could not join us this evening and sends her great gratitude and thanks for being elected to the school committee and will be joining us in a few days. I would now open the program to Pastor Mercedes Martinez Arias to provide the invocation to this event.
Thank you. Buenas noches, Dios le bendiga a todos. Gracias a Dios por este privilegio, le doy gracias a Dios por este privilegio, porque realmente es un privilegio para mí poder estar aquí enfrente de todos ustedes y ser elegida para traer la palabra de Dios en esta noche. Por lo tanto, me siento muy agradecida de que en esta noche me hayan escogido a mí para estar enfrente de todos ustedes. Y le doy la gloria al Señor por eso. Amén. Voy a leer una porción de la palabra de Dios que está en el libro de Daniel y está en el capítulo 2, versículos 21 y 22. La palabra de Dios se lee en el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Y dice así la palabra de Dios. Él muda los tiempos y las edades, quita reyes y pone reyes, da la sabiduría a los sabios y la ciencia a los entendidos. Él revela lo profundo y lo escondido, conoce lo que está en tinieblas y con él mora la luz. Amén. Le doy gracias al Señor por su palabra, porque su palabra es viva y eficaz. Y de esa manera rogamos a Dios para que esa palabra se haga viva y eficaz en nuestra hermosa ciudad de Lawrence. Por lo tanto, mis hermanos, que a través de la palabra de Dios podamos estar unidos en un solo cuerpo. Ahora le voy a presentar a mi esposo, el cual es mi pastor, el pastor Daniel Arias. Él va a traer la oración convocatoria. Que Dios le bendiga.
Damos glorias al Señor por permitirnos dirigirnos a todos ustedes, principalmente a los hombres y mujeres que Dios ha escogido para sacar adelante esta gran ciudad, porque para mí Lawrence es una gran ciudad. Vamos a orar, vamos a poner en reverencia, a dar gracias a Dios para invocar su nombre sobre todos nosotros, sobre Lawrence. Padre poderoso y eterno, dador de toda dádiva, hacedor de maravilla, en el nombre de Jesús, nombre que es sobre todo nombre, presentamos este magno evento para que sea usted bendiciendo a cada uno de estos líderes, los cuales tú lo has escogido para dirigir esta gran ciudad. Oramos para que tú deposites en cada uno de ellos un espíritu de unidad, que ese es el tiempo, Dios mío, de intercambiar ideas, de presentar opiniones. Decimos no al espíritu de división, espíritu de señalamiento, sino que cada quien entienda su rol, acepte su responsabilidad, comparta ideas y mano a mano se trabaje para sacar adelante esta ciudad. Bendecimos a Lawrence, declarando que la voluntad de Dios se ejerce en Lawrence y que Lawrence es una ciudad próspera. Gracias damos a estos hombres y mujeres que tú has elegido. Dale la sabiduría, muéstrale las ideas, muéstrale proyectos para que sean realizados y sobre todas las cosas tu nombre sea glorificado. En el nombre poderoso de Jesús, amén, amén. Gracias.
I want to offer my profound apologies for neglecting to mention Patricia Mariano as our elected official from District E and School Committee. Certainly inadvertent, but nonetheless very important as the chair of the school committee for several years. And I've known her since teaching days. That's a lesson I won't soon forget. Without further ado, I would now like to introduce Reverend Christopher J. Casey of Our Lady of Good Counsel to provide us a prayer for public safety. Father.
Let us pray. Dear God, author of life and giver of all good gifts, we praise you and we thank you for the many ways you bless us in the city of Lawrence through those who serve our city and keep it safe. We pause to pray for the safety of all of our people. Keep us safe from crime and chaos, fire and flood, and from all who would do us harm. We ask your special blessing on those who serve the city of Lawrence in providing and defending our public safety. Keep our firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and paramedics safe as they do their work. Bless also those other city employees and volunteers who provide help in times of trouble. We ask your special blessing on the city of Lawrence as we begin this new year together. Pour out your grace into the hearts of all those who are a threat to public safety and bring them to conversion. Bless families who are struggling. Bless our homeless, those living with addictions, those tempted towards suicide, those threatened by domestic violence, and those living with mental illness. Keep us safe in our homes, in our schools, in our playgrounds, and in our houses of worship. In the midst of our turbulence, we ask your mercy and for the gift of your peace and your protection. May the city of Lawrence and all who serve her give glory to you, Almighty God, in all that we say and do. And as we seek your blessing, teach us to be a blessing to each other and to our city. For we ask you all this in your holy name. Amen.
Now, of course, for the main event, or second to main event, I should say. If the members of the Lawrence City Council would please stand. And raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Kendris Vasquez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
and will support the Constitution thereof.
and will support the Constitution thereof,
So help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Kendris Vasquez,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all duties incumbent upon me
all duties incumbent upon me
as a member of the Lawrence City Council,
as a member of the Lawrence City Council,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
understanding,
understanding,
agreeably
agreeably
to the rules and regulations of the Constitution
to the rules and regulations of the Constitution
and the laws of this Commonwealth.
and the laws of this Commonwealth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The Lawrence City Council. Now, if the members of the Lawrence School Committee would please stand. Raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and will support the Constitution thereof. So help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Lawrence School Committee according to the best of my abilities, understanding, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the laws of the Commonwealth. So help me God. Lawrence School Committee. Now, if the Lawrence members of the Greater Lawrence Technical School Committee could please stand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and support the Constitution thereof. So help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Greater Lawrence Technical School Committee according to the best of my abilities, understanding, agreeably, according to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the laws of this Commonwealth. So help me God. Greater Lawrence Technical School Committee. Your elected officials for 2020 to 2022. Please be seated. I find as city clerk, these events each year become more difficult and more difficult to find a keynote speaker. There are so many talented people that we have in this community. Everybody just clamors to get to this microphone and say a few kind words. This year, our keynote speaker is the Honorable Mayor of this city, Daniel Rivera. I now invite the Honorable Mayor Rivera to the podium, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ustedes sí son algo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is really humbling to be here to speak before you this evening. Having been a city councilor and been to two of these as a city councilor getting sworn in, this keynote speaker was very special, and I am honored, and I thank everyone for the opportunity to do this. But I think we do deserve to give another round of applause to our elected officials. They ran a hard campaign. Now, I want to make sure that we mention all of our friends who all served our community that are in the audience. First and foremost, our former state representative from the 16th District, Juana Matias, is with us. What's Juana at, right? Round of applause for Juana. John Lavoie, Superintendent of Schools for the Greater Lawrence Vocational High School, is with us. John. And he may work in Haverhill, but our former school committee member, Jimmy Blatchford, is with us. And lastly, this is the new school committee and the new city council and the new Greater Lawrence School Committee, but there are some that have left. And so we're gonna, just if I can have Dr. Marinella Rivera stand, Gary Mannion stand, and Brian DePena, can you please stand? These are our outgoing, no, stay standing, stay standing. They deserve a round of applause for their service. Anybody else was on? And then the last thing I'll do, and then we'll get right to the talk, is I think is noteworthy that as we swear in a new city council, that we lost a veteran city councilor recently. And if we can have a moment of silence for Nunzio DeMarca, who served our community many times in the city council and ran for mayor. I think Nunzio would be proud of this group. City councilors, school committee members, officials, fellow Laurentians, thank you all for being with us tonight to celebrate our new government. I know that we are all ready to get to work and that I'm the only thing standing between you and your newly elected and re-elected city council and school committee members. So I'll try to be brief. But it's important to begin with the reflection that the city of Lawrence stands today at the dawn of a new year, really at the dawn of a new decade. 100 years ago, our city government was nothing like it is today. It was an alderman system. It was also a school committee, but it was the mayor served 2 years, and I'm sure that would be popular today. But back then, they only served 2 years. The vocational school didn't even exist. But also today, let's be very clear and very concise on this matter, that it definitely does not look the same as it did then. First of all, there were no women, and there were definitely no people of color. And let's just say the average age was definitely above 50. Even though we had immigrants in our community and we had women in our community, in those times, their voices were just not elected. So let's take a second to soak this in, to look at what we have. That today, we can say that our government truly reflects the residents of the city, and give ourselves a round of applause. And now today, the problems we face are very different than those that they faced 100 years ago. I'm not saying that they were harder or more, I'm just saying that they were different. And because of that, they're too diverse to compare here today. But one of the things that remains the same is the reason why we have local government. And it exists for a specific reason that is today the same as it was then. We levy local money from property owners to provide local services and security to manage the civil and legal interactions within neighbors, businesses, organizations within our city limits. We elect local government to make the decisions, small and large, and to plan the work of our community in support of, not instead of, the work and plans that we have as individuals for ourselves and our families, for our businesses and our churches and our organizations. And when neighbors stop being neighborly, local government is there to mediate. and we want to be more neighborly to each other, when we want to do more for each other, local government is there to support it. However antiquated it sounds that voting for representatives in government, especially local government, is what I believe keeps us from the vagaries of living in the wilds of nature. Together, we do this thing that we can't do on our own, but things that we need to do to be safer and stronger, like educate our kids. And we create order so we can live our freedoms as we choose. This has been the task since our incorporation in 1847 and since we became a city in 1853. It is our task today, at the beginning of the new year, at the beginning of a new decade, in 2020. Now, you may not know this, but tonight is not about politics or policy, and it's definitely not about me. But of course, every swearing in of government officials is a little bit about politics and policy. And because I represent the executive branch, it's a little bit about the executive branch, and I play a role in it. But I want to just tell you about two things I think tonight is about. First, it's the official peaceful transition of power from one council and school boards to the new ones. And second, and as important, is the acceptance of the responsibilities that come with each elected office. We just witnessed both of those things happen simultaneously as the parts of our government took their respective oaths of office. As we all witnessed tonight, you are all newly endowed with powers of your position. But more importantly, you are now all equally tasked with the responsibility of those positions and of being a leader in our community. You may have run because you wanted to decide whether or not we are a city that welcomes immigrants. You will have the power to do that. But we will also have the responsibility of making decisions that are hard and that make it harder on some in our community in order to make it easier on others. Now, you may have run because you wanted to better the education in our public schools, maybe provide better lunches, and you'll have the power to do that. But we will also have the responsibility of how to pay for those new lunches and also the cost of new schools that we desperately need. And you may have run to make sure that the mayor and the local government do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to be doing to provide services to everyone, our neighbors and our fellow Laurentians, and you will definitely have the power to do that. But we will also have the responsibility to pass budgets and approve spending that supports those services. And you may have run because you wanted to represent your community, and you definitely will have the power to do that. But we also have the responsibility when a catastrophic event occurs, a fire, a flood, a gas crisis, all of the above, a snowstorm, the responsibility we all have to be there and to work, to roll up our sleeves to protect and defend the community we wanted to represent. Also, we all know that you will have the ever-watching eye of the public, and so the responsibility to represent us all, the whole city, as you go about using your power and bearing your responsibility, you'll have that responsibility to do right by us all. The interesting thing is that, or the difficult thing, depending on how you look at it, is that day to day you're not sure which, at least I haven't been, sure which you'll be called to use that day. Will it be the day that you get to use the power or the day that you will be called on to be responsible? Do not get this wrong. I'm not trying to lecture you all tonight. Many of you have been doing this work for many years. Some, like Councilor LaPlante and school committee member LaMontagne, have been doing it longer than some of you guys have been alive. No, I guess with just 2 short years left on my term as mayor, I have thought a lot about my experiences these last 5 years with the different councils and the different school boards. And I have reflected a lot on these 2 important parts of our elected office. Because once you win the election, the power is the work you thought you came to do, and it's often the easiest part. The responsibility, however, those are the things that you did not expect, and the things that will keep you awake at night. And in the end, really, we all will be judged by how we yielded the power and how we faced our responsibilities. Tonight, I stand with you, hopeful that you and I will succeed at doing both together. So I will close by saying thank you to the outgoing school boards At Greater Lawrence Vocational School, the board ensured a greater focus on the jobs facing our society, especially STEM jobs and advanced manufacturing, and brought home many state titles. So thank you. The outgoing Lawrence Public School Board, thank you for your tough honesty and for raising your voices locally and statewide for those whose voices you felt were not being heard. Together, we hired a new superintendent that mirrors the life experiences of the majority of our parents and set budget guidelines to keep students learning and teacher support in the center of what we do. And we invested millions and millions of dollars in our school facilities. You should be very proud of that. To the outgoing council, without your support, we would not have had the amazing 2 years of low taxes and improved services. Without the leadership of the council, we could not have grown the police department into the organization it is today. With almost, we're at 48%, majority of people of color on the police department, and we've tripled the number of women officers. We did that together. Without the council and the rest of the elected government, we would not have kept the growth in our businesses and our residential neighborhoods, and we could not have gotten out-of-state oversight. We have all of us, every one of us, done this together. We did all these things, and then on one night in September 13th, we all came together and helped our city survive. And we came together since then to help our city heal. We all did that. We did that together. We should be proud of all of our accomplishments. And that's how I see them. I do not see them as the administrations or the councils. It's all of our accomplishments together. You are all the reasons people statewide can look to Lawrence for leadership in the problems that face the Commonwealth. And I'm confident, I'm sure, with the changes on each board, that the next 2 years will be as effective. I'm proud to call myself a member of the Lawrence City government, alongside you, to work and fight for the things that face our city in this coming decade. I'm excited by the challenges and by your commitment and by your energy. So God guide our work and give us strength to bear our responsibility and yield our power in the interest of this city. Thank you, and let's get to work.
Thank you, Mayor, for such an invigorating and instilling final speech to the council. The festivities have just started, but before we get on with our responsibilities, Mayor, to appoint and have the council and the Lawrence School Committee elect its leadership, which is an open meeting and you're all welcome to stay, I would call upon the good pastor, for a final prayer and wish us well in those endeavors, being the first step in 2020. Reverend Martinez Arias, please.
Vamos a darle un aplauso al Señor. Porque esto se hace posible por Él, mis hermanos.
Amén.
No es por nosotros, sino por Dios.
Amén.
Y por Él estamos aquí. Amén. La gloria de Dios.
Vamos a hacer la oración para cerrar, la oración que le pone el punto a la I. Una oración de agradecimiento a Dios por todo lo que aquí ha acontecido y por los próximos 2 años de este reto que enfrentan estos hombres y mujeres. Pero este reto ellos no lo enfrentan solo, porque Dios los eligió para darle la posición que ellos tienen ahora y lo hacen con el Señor. Amén. Vamos a ponernos de pie, por favor, para orar. Alabado Dios. Gracias damos a Dios, Padre poderoso y eterno. Te damos gracias en el nombre de Jesús, Señor, por esta noche, que es noche que marca un comienzo, marca una nueva esperanza para nuestra ciudad a través de los líderes que han sido puestos por ti, ya que tú pones y quitas los reyes de la tierra, Señor. Te pedimos, Dios mío, en esta hora, que los guíes, Dios mío, en tu santa voluntad. Que tú nos ayudes, Señor, también a colaborar con lo que podamos como ciudadanos de los que estamos aquí presentes para que nuestra ciudad funcione mejor. Te damos gracias, Señor, por nuestro alcalde, por el comité, aleluya, de concejales. Te damos gracias por el jefe de la policía, por los jueces de la corte. Te damos gracias, Dios mío, aún por los que están encargados de las obras públicas de esta ciudad. Guíalos y dirígelos, y bendecimos a Lorenz en el nombre de Jesucristo. Amén.